Looking at here, I feel like for teams that really want to switch things up is I haven't talked about it yet, but figure out a roamer that can really utilize the new roam change, which is dire hit. Dire hit has been changed where it's a very big burst of damage once the enemy is low enough, and then you inflict some kind of crowd control onto him. Natalia has been changed a little bit as well, so I feel like if you're gonna switch things up, you gotta play with either use the dire hit somehow or use the Natalia. But I don't know, man. Like, as a roamer myself, crazy ideas. But when I try it out, it's so difficult. I really feel like a special type of player needs to play that role for us to see some kind of change in the meta here. I'm thinking of like Naomi from Myanmar.
All right, what a nostalgic name there. XRRQ, by the way.
It was from RQ.
Exactly, but yeah, wanting some crazy developments in the roamer position, I feel like that's a great idea. It will definitely bring a bit more variety because that role kind of affects all the other lanes as well. But wanting Natalia back, with his crazy ideas, that's spoken like a true Malaysian, Lafel. I gotta say, it's great. I think it's gonna be so fun to see. But whether or not it's effective right now in the current meta, again, especially with the Kalia we've been talking about the whole time, it's gonna be tough to find something that can kind of match that Kalia. Because that dire hit can be used to great effect by the Kalia still.
Yep, great idea coming in from a Malaysian, but the people that actually execute it is a Filipino named Poloyski and someone from Myanmar named Naomi. So we need all different countries coming in so that we can get something going. So I feel like if everyone's from the same region, we'll just have more or less the same thing. Now we're looking at both teams getting ready. Looks like they are jumping into draft. They just got into draft. Not sure if this is the real draft or just testing their ping. But now we can see both coaches just holding on to little pieces of paper. But again, it's just a best of 3. So not too many things need to be considered here, in my opinion.
You can see the stack of papers in hands of NMM as well, the analysts for Team RRQ. Yeah, they're just really good.
NMM?
NMM.
How do you say his name?
It's NMM, actually.
NMM?
Yep, 3 alphabets. NMM. That's all it takes. Just like that, into the drafting.
So it's like MNM but NMM.
Yeah, it's like a fresh new take at M&M. Yes. He probably raps too.
Alpha 7. They ban out the Matilda, the Fanny, as well as the Wii, Araki, Hoshi. Banning out Jushin, the Joy, as well as the Phobius. Kali, why do people like golf Kali?
I don't know, man. With
Alpha 7 doesn't pick up Kalia.
Maybe, again, might be something that RRQ Hoshi are willing to do, right? Hey, on paper, we are so much better. Let's see if we can find ways to deal with that Kalia. Back when...
No, I can see it.
I mean, exactly. When RRQ Hoshi are against a team or in a meta where one hero has to be picked up, they are notorious for just letting that cryo pick go.
I can see it now. Pick up Kalia, RRQ Hoshi picks up Harif. There you go.
My tail's been itching for a real fight.
Alright,
yep. Alright, Kalia, RRQ Hoshi picks up Harif, and maybe either a Prio mid lane or a Prio jungle.
Magic is my
They can go for the Granger as well. Oh man.
And then a Prio jungle.
Okay, Lofel. Predicting a lot right now.
And then the burst mid, and then the other jungler before it gets banned out. So I'm thinking mid and jungle.
Mid and jungle here. What you thinking for
something like say a Farsa?
Ooh. I mean, the Farsa have been really, really good, man. Good mix of mobility, crowd control, damage as well. I mean, you're calling it out really, really well right here. I mean, if that's the case, I feel like that's good news for me, Oppo.
But either way, RRQ Hoshi, they already have a very good draft here. Pick up a mid lane that can use a Purify, and then you're basically set at this point. For Alpha 7, they need some kind of burst. So, Granger. So they pick up the Granger and the Hayabusa. So they're willing to let Syndra pick the mid lane a little bit later. Interesting.
Cool. Okay, I mean, it's definitely an aggressive move here from Alpha 7 Esports. It really seems like their plan is to just really go and meet RRQ Hoshi straight on. But when you go with a proper dive composition, That's RRQ, man. They're gonna match that Kalia with the Tagriel, and this is a bit of a signature pick for Edox. So Alpha 7, if they have their data right, should be concerned.
They really should be concerned. And RRQ Hoshi right now, looking at Alpha 7, actually for both teams, they honestly have the same lineup here. They have a roamer, they have a gold laner, and they have a jungler. Both teams are missing EXPs as well as the mid laner. So RRQ Hoshi opting to stop EXPs, stopping the high loss seems like a good idea.
I feel like they're gonna try and just limit the amount of frontliners. They can kind of like stop everyone from RRQ Hoshi from diving in. Because with a Heavy and a Suyo, you want to be able to have that opportunity to go into the backline and burst down the Granger, you know, because otherwise it's just Kite City for Alpha 7 here. So I do feel like maybe something that can kind of disrupt the formations will be great for RRQ Hoshi. Because if they, on paper at least, if they want to go full on dive, there's a chance that they get counter-engaged by the Kalia too, right? So it's a bit of a similar situation, but different win condition because of that gold lane, right? The dive nature of the Harriet and that long-range poke potential of the Granger.
Honestly, right now, I feel like Alpha 7 and RRQ Hoshi, they have a pretty good lineup that depends on their roamer. Because again, a Tigreal and a Kalia, very big playmakers, but also has the tendency of you missing your ability and then just making a false engage where your own team gets deceived and then put themselves in a very bad spot. I don't expect to see that kind of play coming in from both roamers, especially from the Kalia, because Kalia is very easy to engage with. The only way that you can whiff with Kalia is if you jump on the wall with the tidal wave, and then everyone just dashes away from your tidal wave. But again, the animation is so quick, I don't really see that happening.
Definitely, it's not a skill that you can or you're supposed to react to. But for RRQ Hoshi, surprisingly, against the Granger, they're the ones banning out the Gatot Kacha here. And that's a solution that Keskin has used before to go against a Fencer Jack. For the side of Alpha 7, the Hilda first, now the Badang as well. A lot of the strong laners that usually can be put in the hands of Tyrant to really disrupt, win the lane, and get a rotational advantage. First pick though goes to RRQ, so with the limited amount of EXP laners, with both teams banning 4 in total out, they have a chance to pick it up first, but they go for the Valentina.
This is good. They pick up the Valentina first. If Alpha 7 does not pick up a Lucas, Valentina goes mid. If Alpha 7 picks up a Lucas, Valentina goes EXP. This is very smart from RRQ Hoshi.
This is great, great cover of all their bases here from RRQ for sure. Now Alpha 7 Esports, with dealing with that preposition here, do they want to risk it all and just bring the Lucas anyways? Or are they gonna...
Takashi is a good Benedetta player.
Benedetta, huh? That can work for sure, but then that would just lock Alpha 7 Esports into the situation where they have to really win the early game or fall short later on in the mid to late game.
Time is running out. Alpha 7, they gotta lock in their heroes now.
I am the priestess
It looks
of
like they're
primal
locking
lightning,
in
the hunter of all the
Sicilian
evil
as
gods.
well as Edith. I feel like this is a very good pickup here. So now RRQ Hoshi, actually even the Valentina does well against the Edith because you can pick the Primal Wrath and then just do a lot of damage if you have Warcry. And then they pick up Lucas.
Oh boy. I thought that the main idea for RRQ is just to make sure that there's no more big engages that can be used, looking at how they were willing to ban with the Gatot as well. But yeah, with the Primal Wrath available, well, with the fact that they're up against a Sicilian, this kind of leads RRQ to having a bit more to say in the early game. So I think for the Hayabusa of Alpha 7 Esports, mainly, it's gonna be a bit tough here. I don't think with the Valentina, Tigreal, and Suyo combo, RRQ are gonna take it easy in the early game.
Yeah, despite letting go of the Kalia, I actually do like the draft coming in from RRQ Hoshi. They have a lot of options here where the Valentina, you can take away the Tsunami Slam and have a big engage, so you don't have to wait on your Tigreal. Or for more damage, just take the Primal Wrath, just deal quite a lot of damage. We're gonna see if the Valentina has a Warcry. I'm thinking it's gonna take the Edith off.
It's definitely the way to go, most likely. Let's see how this goes, man. Potential fireworks in the early game. It says Alpha 7 against RRQ Hoshi, game number 1.
Yep, looks like Rince is taking Quantum Charge as well. Basically a generally good emblem taker. So now looking at both lineups, not really expecting a lot of aggression coming in until the turtle comes up. The only thing is I feel like Rince as a Valentina, you just want to poke out Alpha 7 as much as you can, just so that you can have this lead for EXP.
The Quantum Charge choice here for Rince, it kind of suits his style. He wants to be up close and personal, and that extra bit of movement speed is going to allow him to actually be more active, and it's also good sustain because Rince likes trading a lot. In the mid lane though, already, we have a 2v2 here. I think that Kalia is the great equalizer. Ooh. Okay.
Something to note as well, here we can see that Rince is using Tenacity and Purify. So Vanguin using this Kalia needs to really choose his targets well. If he picks up the Lucas can have an easier engage on the team, so that doesn't seem good. And if you pick up the Tigreal doesn't need his flicker to engage. So this is actually a situation where RQ Hoshi, they make it difficult for the Kalia to choose which targets to catch unless they can force out the Purify early and then eventually catch them again.
Look at this laning from Dyron though, bullying Takashi all the way as much as possible, and the wave is getting frozen. It's gonna push towards RRQ right here, and Takashi won't be able to really do anything about it here. He might be forced to miss a full-on EXP card. That's gonna mean a level 4 advantage for Dyron once the fight takes place in the turtle.
Yeah, that's rough, but looks like Takashi is gonna clear that lane and eventually hit level 4. Anyway, it looks like this is gonna be a very free turtle for RQ Hoshi. Takashi was able to back away, so not gonna get caught by the rotation coming in from Rince. Looks like for both teams, looks like they're gonna take it a little bit slow, and I kind of feel like it's fine because they both have generally good scaling, a little bit better for Alpha 7 just because of the nature of the unlimited scaling coming in from Sicilian.
Don't forget the Granger as well, now working with those stacks too. The later the game goes, more Death Sonatas. So RQ Hoshi though, they haven't really made any move into the jungle. Oh, as I say that.
That looks like Toy is able to, looks like Rince is gonna get in there and Susujin gets the kill. I forgot I was play-by-play, for real.
There's just so much tension right here. At any moment there, I was just saying that RQ Hoshi are not going in, but look at this, Dyron, 1v2.
Yep, Ogi shadow kill onto Dyron, but at this point, he's a little bit too tanky as a Lucas. 3 members from RQ Hoshi charges to Takashi, and Takashi has to use the Primal Wrath just to get away.
Ogi has a lot of fighting power right here. Takashi though, just takes him out. He did a way more than he could chew.
I want to see the itemization from Dyron. Usually that kind of damage coming in from Lucas indicates a War Axe, but maybe he just got enough of a lead that he doesn't need a War Axe to do that damage.
That's just like the power of the Lucas, man. There's so much pressure there. And even though Takashi was trying his best to kind of move back and forth, I feel like he got kind of abated there by the situation. Now look at this potential dive.
Yep. Okay. Takashi is able to clear up the minions. So far, not going to be that big of an issue. Vanguin does not have any kind of a crazy engage on this Kalia, where it looks like he has to use the flicker more defensively rather than offensively.
But considering that just earlier, Edok was the one pulling the trigger on that engage, it's a bit of a contest here. Who's gonna actually make the aggressive move first, right? It's like a game of chicken for both roamers. Now, at the neutral objective, this is where the moment of truth is for both of these roamers to make a move happen for their team.
Well, looks like an engage is going to happen against Edok. Edok is going to pull Vanguin back, but Vanguin still gets the kill onto Edok. But look at Toy. Susujin gets a kill onto Vanguin. RQ Hoshi, they're controlling the turtle at this moment. Gusta Lagusta is using the opportunity to get any kind of poke that he can. Either way, RQ Hoshi wins that trade. Ooh. Oh, it's not over. Susujin is looking at Gusta Lagusta, and it looks like 4 members of RQ Hoshi are hovering in the bottom lane.
RQ, man, they get something, they gotta push a bit further to see if they can get even more. But right now, the composition for Alpha 7 is that they have 2 great utility picks, the Edith and the Kalia, but they don't really have anyone that can kind of stand in the front and take all that damage. Not right now, at least, without some more items. So for RQ Hoshi, as long as they all land their damage onto the right person, the same person, it seems like Alpha 7 Esports are going to be forced to concede ground just because they can't really sustain from the initial collision.
Personally, for me, if anyone's going to frontline, it is going to be Takashi, just so that he can get a little bit more stacking in before he uses the Primal Wrath. But still, you prefer not to. Right now, Arkihoshi, they're 2,000 gold ahead. Alpha 7 being... I would say this is a spot that they really don't want to be in.
Absolutely not, man. Letting RRQ move around as they please. But what choice do they have? Even down there, Alpha 7 were trying to match the push. We're trying to clear the wave and save their bottom side turret. But Arkihoshi immediately go into the jungle and just threaten the potential for Edok to make a move here, especially with the flicker available. It's just way too dangerous, and Alpha 7 are just trying their best to avoid it, but Veguin...
Oh, well, looks like he engages, forces out the Purify, but Gusta Lagusta still gets taken down. Dyron goes to the back line, trying to get a kill, but he himself gets taken down by Syndra. And now Arkihoshi, are they overstaying their welcome? Rinse, very, very low HP, just one attack away from death. Escapes, just barely there. And I was saying Dyron looks like he's going for a War Axe, and looks like that is going to be his first item, the War Axe.
It's going to be way more damage, way more sustained for Dyron when he's frontlining. But right now, Alpha 7 Esports have control over the turtle situation. Arkihoshi might have made a mistake here.
Yeah, Edok trying to check the bush. Dashes away. KingZeal gets a kill. Oh. Penguin has no place to go. Killing spree for Sutsujin. Zaman Force activated by Toy just to push Alpha 7 away from the turtle.
Alpha 7 Esports were the one to try and attempt the pickoff, but Arkihoshi were able to match it. It's almost like they got what they wanted and pulled back, but Veguin was kind of left alone in the front there. That's the all-in nature of that Kalia, man. Not a lot of ways to exit from the fight once you jump in. So Arkihoshi...
Yeah, sorry for cutting. This is why, personally for me, when I'm using a Kalia, I want someone with a little bit more burst, because we saw that Edok was engaged on, but it took a while for him to die. He's able to dash away first, bring someone with him, and then gets a trade. So, you know, I just don't like Kalia paired up with a late game hero.
And Alpha 7 Esports, maybe they would have had access to more damage, more burst, if they had more items, right? They're almost 4k gold behind at this point, which is why they have to take it a bit easy here. Later on, when Gusta Lagusta and Syndra can deal that insane late game damage, then the Kalia becomes a bit more of a threat. Right now, though, Arkihoshi are just very happy to take these moments, fights like that. And Rince, earlier, escaping with a sliver of HP, that's what he plans on doing, man. Getting up close and personal. That's exactly why he went for the tenacity. He wants that damage reduction because he knows he's going to be in the thick of it.
Right now, Gusta Lagusta, yes, thick of it, I know, but
yes,
that's so last year, okay? Okay, probably last year, but either ways, Gusta Lagusta, he has the Sky Piercer, so if he's able to get a kill, maybe things can turn around for Alpha 7, but you know, it depends on whether they get a good catch or not, which looks like Penguin is struggling to get a good catch.
I think this formation here, 3-2 from RRQ, two members on the bottom side, attempting a potential pickoff, and they have Dyron, who is going to be so tanky that even if Alpha 7 Esports take him out, it's going to come at a cost, but it might just happen.
Oh, it looks like an engage is going on. Not sure what happened there, but big damage. Sutsujin gets a kill onto Syndra. Toy able to take down KingZeal, and that's a wipeout. What? One engage and it's such a wipeout.
Bro, the damage, the engage, the juggling of turret aggro. Arkihoshi, that was a clean fight. And they're not even rushing to take the Lord. They're just pushing out objectives here. They know they can use the Lord to try and bait another fight afterwards. That was crazy, man. I mean, Sutsujin just brought the Malefic War right there, and you're used immediately deleted straight up.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. The camera was panning away, but the way that it's set up, it looks like with the implosion, and then maybe Dyron got the other two changing his form and then grabbing two, and then afterwards just Sutsujin and Toy dealing damage. But that was a big setup. I was not sure how it started. We just know.
I think it started with Dyro just walking into Alpha 7 Esports, and they were kind of confused. Like, do we try and pick him off? He's really strong right now, this Lucas, right? Or do we back away? And in the middle of the hesitation, I think that's where Araki Hoshi potentially made a move there to force Alpha 7 into a fight. Now though, they have this Lord. So Alpha 7 Esports, what's the plan here? If they want to go for some kind of moment, they can. They have good clear with the Granger and the Sicilian. They just have to be careful of the engaged potential of Araki Hoshi.
Power them, just clear minions. Just clear minions, wait for 18 minutes, and then maybe you have enough stacks on the Sicilian to get a kill, you know?
At this point, the clock definitely is favoring Alpha 7 Esports, so Araki Hoshi have that urgency, and that's why they're pushing really aggressively right now. The base, the protection is going to be used up in the mid lane as well, but that's one base tower taken for Araki Hoshi, and they might get one on top as well.
Yep, right now, Araki Hoshi with the conceal, looking for someone. It looks like an engage coming in from the Kalia, but he's gonna get that kill. Look at Implosion grabbing two. Kingzilla gets taken down. Takashi tries to return the damage, but he does not have the items just yet. Kingzilla and Penguin got taken down alongside with Edok.
Hang on a second here, RRQ are still staying around. They have the members advantage, but they have no HP to speak of. I feel like Alpha 7, like sacrificing two members, are able to maintain that top side base turret, and that's great because the Lord is on the bottom side. So for now, Araki Hoshi at a 10 people lead, but they won't have a default push advantage from the waves on the top side. As we take a look at some of the items right here, the Queen's Wings for Dyron, man. He knows he's going to be getting all in there, wanting more reduction, more sustain. The all-in nature of the Lucas is just being used to its full potential right here. And for Toy, he's still scaling up really well. 3 items with the Holy Crystal already completed. So the burst damage and the DPS is actually really great for our RRQ. Whereas for Alpha 7, I think they have a Sky Piercer on the side of Gusta Lagusta, but he doesn't have stacks to speak of right here. And it's big up though.
Hey, that's the first stack. It always starts with one, right?
Yes.
So you got one stack and then work on it. Like, maybe they could do it.
Maybe, man. Yes, Syndra as well already has the Wishing Lantern. So now for Araki Hoshi, at least when it comes to the dance, the poke game, Alpha 7 Esports are a real player. Like, they have actual damage to speak of. Araki Hoshi though, definitely with a bit of disrespect, they're sending Dyron alone, 1v5 technically. But the Lord might just be taken right here. Alpha 7 Esports are nowhere close.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard for them to contest as well. At this point, I would just use this opportunity to control your own jungle and try to give as many stacks to Syndra and as many gold to Gusta Lagusta, because yeah, I feel like if they try to contest, that would be a big throw.
I think that's definitely the way to go right here with that composition. For Alpha 7 Esports though, I feel like now, right, when they are ramping up in damage, when 1 or 2 items, or almost 3 items have been completed for their main backline carries, the Sicilian and the Granger, they can start pivoting more towards a proper front to back. And what that means is they should be using the Earth Shatter, all these other crowd control tools from the Kalia and the Edith to kind of stop Edok. Because realistically here, if Edok doesn't get a big implosion, there's not a lot of ways for Araki Hoshi to really get everyone together and go for that big combo, big damage, right? And if it becomes a long, drawn-out, sustained battle, Alpha 7 Esports have the lead here, have the advantage.
Conceal was cancelled by Gusta Lagusta with the Rhapsody hitting on to Edok. Ward is in the bottom lane. Dyron flickers in, but almost no HP. Looks like the Kalia was able to grab Syzygen, but the Kalia gets taken down. Edok gets taken down as well, but Toy is ending the game, and game number 1 goes over to Araki Hoshi.
A dominant performance there for Araki Hoshi. Alpha 7, if the game went a bit longer, then maybe there was a chance, but Araki understand that as well. In that last fight, it seems like there was a moment for Alpha 7 to make something happen, but Araki said, we don't care. We'll lose the fight and take the base. Whatever gets the job done.
Personally, for me, looking at this game, I kind of feel like Araki Hoshi really wanted that, because they let the Kalia open, and I can blame Alpha 7. If I was them, I would take up the Kalia as well. But during the draft, even I noticed that the Arif is not bad, and Karth is a very big counter towards Kalia in the sense that he can use a Purify, and we saw that he has been using the Purify as well. And it just made it all the more difficult for Vanguin to be like, whoever I catch is the wrong target. Unless I catch Sutsujin, is the wrong target. You don't want to catch Dyron, you don't want to catch E-Dog, and you cannot catch Toy or Rinse.
And it's just tough when it comes to the variety of plays available. Because we saw that Alpha 7 was trying to use Vaguin mainly for the engage, and Takashi towards the end was a bit more of a frontline damage dealer. For RRQ, even in that final sequence, we thought that E-Dog was going to make the play happen, but Dyron, out of nowhere, goes in with the Sacred Beast form, flickers behind, and just tries to get one of the Alpha 7's members just out of position so his team can kind of make something happen. So the variety of options, of approaches from RRQ, I think also allowed them to circumvent a lot of the problems that some teams would find against a team, you know, like with the Sicilian, with the Granger in their own base.
Yeah, I feel like Vanguin as well. Looking at the lineup, they don't really have that big of a front line. So maybe instead of pull yourself together, maybe he would switch it up for a Tenacity, just so that he can tank a little bit more damage. But the Kalia is not supposed to be a frontline hero, it's supposed to be a catch hero. Yeah, and again, it's just unfortunate that he was not able to do it. But to his defense, this is a very hard draft for you to catch someone. And out of all the junglers, Suyo is one of the more difficult ones because he has 1,001 dashes.
And even in the mid trio that is so important in the current meta, man. The fact that King Zilla on the Hayabusa, we didn't really see a big moment at all. He wasn't allowed to find any assassinations, any flanks. The best thing he did was kind of split push towards the end right there to buy his team a bit more time. But the fact that he has no protection against the implosion, right, the instantaneous nature of that implosion, means that he has to wait for E-Dog to make a move, and usually once that happens, it's a bit too late.
Yep. And again, we're looking at the MVP here, Sutsujin 7-0-4, almost 1,000 gold per minute, 79% kill participation. In this game, Sutsujin is flawless. And if we're gonna just touch on a little bit of the draft, just to say how good Arakihoshi drafted this one, the final bans were Hylos as well as Gato Kacha. If they had a Hylos or a Gatot, maybe they could actually stall the game out long enough, but being forced to use an Edith, maybe that's the reason why their entire draft just couldn't mesh well together. I really feel like it's just a mishmash of different things that doesn't have any kind of synergy, because if you look at the draft, what's the combo? What's the synergy?
Yeah, they just have a bit of damage, a pick-off tool technically, but not a lot of ways to kind of follow up or even stop Arakihoshi from like following up. Because Alpha 7 can kind of catch someone, but when the whole team, 5 members, run at you, there's not much you can do. If they had a Gatot there, the AOG, the Avatar of the Guardian, might be able to kind of like push everyone away. The Glorious Pathway as well is something that can be used for Alpha 7 to elevate their chase and kiting potential, but those two options immediately gets